for those of you who don't know, this has been a major story. It has just went wild, like wildfire across the mainstream media, across social media, that many children had been beheaded by Hamas. Children, babies, etc. And in fact, here is Joe Biden's
fucking guy.
this fucking guy.
I just can't with this guy anymore. I swear to
Here is Joe Biden speaking about it. And I think they show on the screen as I play it that the White House has since retracted what he said, has put out statements saying that he misspoke. But anyway, watch him saying he's actually seen videos of beheaded children.
I never really thought that I would see and have confirmed.
Hold on, I didn't know if I missed the first part there.
I never really thought that I would see and have confirmed pictures of terrorists beheading children. I never thought I'd ever. Anyway,
He doesn't even know.
But there are countries in the region that are trying to be of some help, including Arab nations, trying to be of some help. So, anyway.
This guy doesn't know what fucking planet he's on, okay?
But you know why he never thought he'd see that? Because he didn't fucking see it. That's why he never thought he'd see it. So there he is, basically telling the American people and the world that there is video of terrorists beheading children that he has seen, that the President of the United States has seen. Now, since that...
Yes, to the person who asked, is this like the Iraqi incubator story? Yes.
We're getting to that.
Good call.
We're getting to that.
Friend.
How dare you jump ahead in my research? This is back in 1990, 1991. This 16-year-old girl, Kuwaiti, gave this testimony to Congress, and it actually had a big influence on manufacturing consent for war, the first Iraq war. And I'm just going to play this 10-second clip of her as in front of Congress.
I was the youngest volunteer. The other women were from 20 to 30 years old. While I was there, I saw the Iraqi soldiers come into the hospital with guns. They took the babies out of the incubators, and left the children to die on the cold floor.
Also, I'm just envisioning a bunch of people walking out with incubators. Like she said, they took the incubators.
Her point was they wanted the technology or the tech or whatever, the piece of the parts.
For what?
Who knows?
Making
the parts, but
hot dogs? Like, what is this story?
They were cooking some poached eggs that they wanted. Anyway,
even just the simplest like analysis of this story, you'd be like, they walked out with incubators?
Well, and here's the thing. Your average soldier of any stripe, it's very rare that you get to a level of hatred and disgust. Now, from a distance where you push a button and a bomb's dropped, that's a different thing. But of walking up to a slew of babies and leaving them on a floor, it's like almost unheard of. But anyway, this helped manufacture consent for war, helped the American people get behind bombing the shit out of Iraq. And it turned out that it was completely made up, completely bullshit. She was actually coached by a PR firm that was hired for this moment. And they didn't happen to mention she's the daughter, and was then as well, the daughter of the Kuwaiti ambassador to the United States. So this was a fully cooked PR bullshit.
Fully cooked, really?
Oh, the incubators?
Come on, man. Okay, so but the point is, and as the person commented in the chat there, this is a story that gets repeated in different variations, right? Because no matter what you believe, like, and if no matter what quote unquote side you're on, you have to. There is no moral argument that justifies the killing of babies, right? It's to the point that it's become almost like a joke in the zeitgeist, right? Like, oh, killing babies, like that's that's what the left does, or that's what these it's like it's become a joke. But it is very useful for the establishment to use that, because what are you going to do? Oh, well, it was justified because no, you can't say that.
Right.
There's no comeback for that.
It takes all of the moral discussion out of it. Whereas if you say Hamas fighters went in and they were fighting IDF, then you get into a discussion about, well, did they have a right to fight back? Were they fighting soldiers? It's a whole thing. Whereas if you say killing babies, I've never met anyone who's like, look, it was the right thing to do.
Right.
So it really does short circuit the moral discussion, which is why it's useful and why it's being used right now. Here is one of my favorite journalists who I worked with for a while, Alan McLeod.
Alan McLeod's great.
And he's knocking it out of the park the past week.
He's excellent at finding bullshit headlines.
Yeah, I don't know how much time he spends looking at these garbage newspapers, but so these are headlines. I think it's mostly British. Many of these are like front page stories. Horror at the pure evil of beheading. Another one is 40 babies murdered by Hamas. Another one is, this was a Holocaust pure and simple, talking about the babies being beheaded. The next one says Hamas cut the throats of babies in a massacre. And Alan says British biggest newspapers are all leading with unsourced atrocity propaganda that even the IDF has refused to confirm. So as this story continued to ripple around the internet and people were losing their minds over it, it has now been fully debunked. Gray Zone has found the initial source of this bullshit story. Oh, so many clicks. Okay.
You're doing great.
I'm trying. And the source of that claim is an Israeli settler leader who incited riots to wipe out a Palestinian village after an Israeli reserve soldier named David Ben Zion told a reporter that Palestinian militants cut off heads of babies. Biden, Netanyahu, and the international media amplified the dubious claim. The Gray Zone has identified Ben Zion as a fanatical settler leader who incited riots by demanding a Palestinian town be wiped out. So they've now found the one source of this completely bullshit story.
Who just
made
vomited it out. Yeah.
Just said it.
Just said it.
And they all ran with it. And it's even Joe Biden was saying he saw video of it.
But don't forget, he marched with Nelson Mandela.
He did march with Nelson Mandela. So there's that. But this is how this shit is done. This is how propaganda is done. And the thing is, even though it's been retracted, even though even the White House has said, yeah, Biden was a little off his rocker on that one.
Well, then even the IDF is like, I can't confirm that. Even the
IDF can't confirm it. Despite all of that, people still believe this shit because they don't see the retraction, and people are still posting it, and they stand around the water cooler and 5 people go, yeah, they did. They beheaded babies. And that's how propaganda works. Even as all of it is outed and we see that it was all bullshit to begin with, this is how it works.